How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So I've owned this car for 7 months now, but I'm gonna do a 6-month review because in this last month nothing has really happened, and I've been meaning to do this video for a month now, or like 2 weeks now. Quickly take it out and let's talk about the last 6 months in this car. One thing I can say though before we start this video is this car is a whole lot of fun. So let's get a quick recap of everything that's happened, and let's start from the absolute beginning. So before I bought this car, I wasn't necessarily looking for a Mustang because a couple of reasons. One, this car has a lot of horsepower, and for insurance it would not be a good idea because it's 2 doors and it has 4 seats, but it is still a sports car, and a 2-door sports car at that, right? And with a V8, insurance would not be a good idea at all. If you want to see what I pay for insurance rates for this car and my BMW, go check out a previous video that'll be up on the corner of the screen. But I didn't want to buy that because insurance, and I live in Wisconsin. The state of Wisconsin gets a lot of snow in the winter, and the car is rear-wheel drive. This car is equipped with all-season tires, and I bought this car in January, so it drove through a little bit of the winter. I always cleaned it off afterwards, made sure that there was no salt on the car whatsoever because I wanted to take care of it. I ended up not having really too many other choices, and I ended up finding this car. I wanted a GT Premium. The Premium entails, if we come take a step inside, it has the leather seats, and the center console looks 20 times better. I'm not sure if the non-Premium has this screen or not. I believe it has a screen, but it's a much smaller screen than this one, and the center console just has way too many buttons and is overcomplicated. I love the way this looks. You get heated and cooled seats, which is another factor and why I wanted to step to the Premium. And overall, it's just a much better car than the base 5.0. As much as everyone likes to joke around, I did 100% want to buy a 5.0. I wanted to go with the GT. I had to get a V8. If I personally was to ever buy a Camaro, Mustang, or Challenger, I'd always go with the V8 option. That's just because that's what I would want out of a car like this. I'd want it to be an aggressive, loud V8, and I went with the 5.0 because of that, and I heard the Coyote is an absolute amazing motor, but we'll get into that in a second here. So I searched around for a little bit, ended up stumbling on a couple other cars before I found this one, but this one really stuck. One, it was Kona Blue, which was one of my favorite colors in the Mustang. I'm getting a little bit of lightning there. But Kona Blue is one of my most favorite colors in the Mustang, and I just think it looks, I just think it looks really good. There's Grabber Lime. I didn't really like this car in the reds, but there was a dark maroon red car that I almost bought before this one. But Kona Blue, Grabber Lime, and I believe Fury Orange is option in this, and I think, and the pre-2018 cars, the second generation Coyotes, those had a yellow option, but I believe they discontinued that in 2018, and my car's a 2019. 2018 they did a facelift. They made the car look a little bit different. As you can see in the front, there's slight differences in the front on the bottom section. I like the look of the front on the other car better, I can't say that, but this car does have a little bit of other things that the 2017 16s don't have. The taillights in the rear are curved on this one, and in the pre-facelift they're just straight. I don't really care for either one. I think they both look good, and I had this one, so I'm completely okay with it. I don't really have a preference in the rear, but I think the front of those cars do look a little bit better. My car came with a quad tip exhaust. I'm pretty sure all the 2018 Plus have the quad tip in the back. I'm not 100% on that, but I know before they did used to offer just a single dual exhaust for this car. My car has been swapped out with a Roush catback system, and it has smaller mufflers. It has a resonator delete with an X pipe on it. Drove the car in the snow for a little bit, made a video on that. You can also go check that out. It handled pretty well in the snow. I handled 20 times better than I expected it to. And the all seasons performed pretty well. I mean, I also have driven in the snow for 2 years now, so I kind of knew what I was doing behind the wheel, and it proved to be okay, and didn't really run into too many issues, never got stuck, never got, put in a ditch or anything like that. It survived the winter completely. I made sure to always clean the car off with all the salt. I know it's not good at all to drive your car in the snow like that. But I made sure to, one, avoid as much powder snow as I could. Like right when it snowed, I made sure to avoid everything, because if I went out, I would definitely slip a lot. I live on kind of like a side street. When I left my street, it wasn't plowed at all, and I'd be slipping all over the place. My car would be driving like slanted, and it's what it was. You know, it's 20 feet out of my street, but it was still a little bit of a pain. That's like the hardest I had, you know, getting out of the driveway. But on the streets, I made sure to kind of avoid the salt as much as I could, and afterwards, whenever I'd come home at night, I'd make sure to rinse the car down pretty thoroughly. My hands would freeze, but I think it's 100% worth it. Then it started to get a little warmer out. I started to enjoy the car a little bit more. I've made all my videos like during the time. I mainly made them after the snow started going away, and I had a real opportunity to drive this car like, honestly, like they were meant to be driven. Just a little bit of fun, you know, nothing too illegal, even though we've had our fair amount of issues with people not liking how loud this car is. I got an exhaust almost right away. Driving dynamic wise, this car is absolutely awesome. You know, you put it into Sport Plus mode and the steering feel gets a little heavier. The clutch was heavier than most cars I was used to. I'm kind of just used to the heavy clutch feel, and it is what it is. But this car has a very heavy steering feel, and then especially when you put it into sport, the steering into sport, especially if you put the steering into sport, there's 3 different modes. There's the normal, comfort, and then sport. Normal, it's fairly heavy compared to a lot of other cars I've driven, but sport, it gets really heavy, and I really like how it feels. Obviously, there's a different mode selects here too, and whenever you put into Sport Plus and track, it automatically puts the steering into sport. But I love how the way this car handles, how the car drives, and the traction control in this car is really, really good. In the snow, I could tell for sure. It wasn't letting the car kick out. It wasn't letting the car, you know, slide everywhere. And in the rain like this, the traction control does a really good job in making sure the car stays stable. Even if you're trying to like have a little bit of fun and kick the car out in normal mode, the car does a really good job in making sure the car doesn't kick out, slide everywhere, and, you know, getting into an accident or just completely losing control of the car. It does a really good job at that. And overall, driving wise, I've had no complaints of this car whatsoever, and I've loved every second of driving it. The only complaints I do have, like I've said before, is the transmission. We've had a little bit of issues with it. I made some videos on it. You know, when I'm leaving first gear, getting off the clutch a little bit, the car likes to make a little bit of grinding noise, and it hasn't left yet. It comes, it goes. I've tried to take it in before. I've tried taking it into the dealership, and they just kind of said, oh, we couldn't replicate the noise, and certain times it gets bad, and it went away for a very long time, and now it's come back a little bit in the last couple of weeks, and it went away again. That's pretty much the only issue I've ever had with the car, is the transmission. But it's under full warranty for like 6 years, and if anything does happen to the transmission in all of that time, everything should be covered. And in a previous video, my exhaust was actually rubbing against my sway bar, and that's also another issue I'd had. I thought something in the suspension was squeaking every time I was going over a bump. It turns out it's just a simple little issue with the sway bar rubbing against the aftermarket exhaust, so that was a very easy fix. It's starting to absolutely come down. I tried making this video earlier, and it started raining before, but I think that's basically all I needed to say. The car's been amazing except for that one issue, and there's a lot more to come on this car. I was gonna sell it at one point because the car's worth more than what I paid for it, and it was not because I wanted to get out of this car. I absolutely love this car. For the money, it's an amazing car. Once the prices start going down again, you know, everything starts to normalize again, you'll be able to get this car for the price of like a newer Honda Civic, which is pretty insane, especially if you don't get a premium and you're looking for just power. You don't have to get all the leather seat options, the carbon fiber dash, 19-inch wheels, the big screen, heated cooled seats. You can get the car without these options, and it's an amazing bang for your buck, like I've said before in many other videos, and I absolutely love this car. Is there any chance that I would get rid of it? Honestly, even when I was selling it, I didn't want to sell it. And now, even if someone wants to give me a full price offer for what I have it listed for, I don't think I would take it, just because I don't want to get rid of the car. Amazing daily driver, except for the gas mileage part. I will tell you how many... before I end this video, go over the gas mileage I've been getting 17.5 miles per gallon. You know, 17.5 is a pretty good benchmark. I've driven the car 6,000 miles. The car does get driven on a daily basis, 6 months, so almost 7 months, 6,000 miles, right? And in this fuel tank, I'm getting 17.6, and I've been kind of aggressively driving. I will say this, if you're driving on the highway, the car gets amazing gas mileage. You can get upwards towards 30 or even like higher than that, depending on how you're driving. But do I regret buying a Mustang? Absolutely not. I absolutely love the car. You know, hopefully we can get the transmission issue either resolved or it goes away. And you know, the MT82 transmission isn't the best. You can go with the 10-speed automatic, but I find it way more fun to enjoy the car with a manual transmission, because I'm never going to be professionally racing anyone in this. I'm not going to do any of that. I bought this car for a daily driver and to have fun, and the manual transmission is doing that for me. If anything does go bad, like I said before, it should be under warranty. If I'm not under warranty by the time the transmission goes out, I can always upgrade it and, you know, take a little bit of a loss, but I guess I'll have an even stronger transmission, and I can keep enjoying the car. But the warranty does exist for a reason. That's all I have for this video. Make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and if you're looking into buying a Mustang, make sure you do so. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys go do that. Leave a like, and there'll be a lot more videos coming soon. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video.